I have recently just finished my 9th Animal Crossing island, and yes, I do have a bit of a problem, but I thought it was now time to take a look back at the islands I've created and rank them from worst to best, aka my least favorite to my favorite. So without further ado, let's take a deep dive into these islands. So my least favorite island is an island called Azalea. This was a winter island, and that is probably my first issue with it, honestly. Winter is probably my least favorite season in the game, and I remember struggling to decorate with it being all snowy. Aside from it being winter, I wanted to have a very rustic town feel to it, and there is a lot of wood tones used here which strongly inspired by my love of barrels, of course. I do have some favourite builds on this island. I really like the Christmas market cafe area with the canal. I was also a fan of the entrance here. I really didn't have much room between the resident service and the entrance, so I tried to make it quite compact, and I think it kind of worked. I also really liked the garden centre here. I'd never done a garden centre before, and this was kind of the real first build that I had done using the walls, the medieval side walls, and I was really excited to use them, so that was exciting. And the library here, I also used the walls, but I raised it up so you had to go up the stairs, which was something I'd never done before. And my final kind of area that wasn't really very in keeping with the rest of the island was the campsite. I really liked using the path with the little snow footprints in. That was so cute. And I think I did like the contrast because this was more of a natural area and it had some little pops of red in it as well, which was kind of cute. I think my other main issue as to why this was at the bottom for this island was the fact that I just don't feel like it flowed as well as some of my other islands, which is disappointing. And honestly, I think I could have definitely done a better job with the pathing for sure. It felt very flat. When I look back at it now, it feels very flat. But yeah, that was Azalea. My second least favorite island is going to be my first ever island of Floral. Do not get me wrong, my first island, I absolutely love this. I did create this one on a Switch Lite, so there is no video for it. But I think my problem with it is that it just feels dated now. Like, for example, the path. If I was to redo this island, I would definitely pick another path because custom designs have just come a long way in the time that we've been playing Animal Crossing. And I did absolutely love the time of year that I set this island on. I think it's one of my favorites. It's just really nice. The color of the grass is really cute. At the time of building this island, I didn't do many kind of actual builds that were standalone. It was more about making cute yards for my villagers, which is maybe why it isn't one of my favorites. I do love some of the little things that I did do on this island, and one of those was my apiary, which funnily enough I still see sometimes when I'm scrolling through Pinterest, which I kind of find quite funny. I also liked the yard of my resident rep home. I thought this was just very cute, nothing crazy, kind of relaxing. I also loved the area with Maple and Fauna's home. I think the colours just spoke to me. Unfortunately, you can't visit this island any longer, which is kind of sad, but at least you can watch my awful first video of it if you wanted to. My next island is going to be my Farmcore island of Maplewood. This island was completed at a weird time. I had like maybe 80% of the island left to do when the 2.0 update dropped, and because of that I feel it's kind of a weird mix of 1.0 and 2.0. If I could have been bothered, I would have definitely tore down some of the builds and redone them with the new items, but that would have been a lot of work. Despite the weird mix, I absolutely love the colours on this island. There is just something about autumn islands that hit differently, and these codes are some of my favourite that I've ever used. There are lots of lovely builds on this island too. I try to keep a nice mix between kind of using the villager yards as farms and having freestanding builds as well. I honestly am struggling to pick my favourite areas on this island, but I did like my sunken waterfall, and this took a while to create, so maybe that's why I'm kind of proud of it. I also really like my farmer's market. That was really nice, very rustic and had lots of details. And finally, my berry farm and jam making station. I remember getting inspired for this on stream, so that was fun. I would love to go back and do a Farmcore island again using all 2.0 items, but we shall see. I don't know if that will realistically happen. The fourth island is going to have to be my vintage Kidcore island of Buttercup, aka the pinkest island I've ever done. This is my most recent island, and I did enjoy doing something different, as this one is very structured, almost like a town/city island. It had a lot of shops. I feel like I did a better job of organizing and planning this one out than I did with Azalea, and I did enjoy using different furniture that I hadn't been able to use in the past because it was more colorful, but I did go over the top. I feel that this island is super laggy at some times, and also I kind of feel like it wasn't almost Kidcore enough as I wanted it to be, which was a bit of a shame. I really loved my pet shop here. I'd never done that before, so I did think that was cute. The school was also a big job, and I feel it was one of the biggest builds I've done in a long time, especially because you can go up and walk around it, which is cute. I also love the ballet studio. I had so much fun decorating this on stream, and I really also enjoyed making the laundrette. It was just such kind of cute, retro-y kind of idea behind it. I will also say I will not be using pink on an island for a very, very long time after this one. The next island, I won't lie, I did almost forget to include this island, perhaps maybe because it's another winter island and we already know by now it's not my favourite season, but this is my island of Nutmeg, and I think when I went into this island I really wanted to redeem myself because I just didn't love Azalea and the whole winter aesthetic that I went for there. This was much more of a natural winter island, and I think it was a lot better for it, and I had a lot more fun with it because of that reason. I also decided to add in red as an accent color, which I think helped a lot as well, made it feel more vibrant, and just overall I think it looked prettier. I did try my hand at some typical winter builds on this island. I did like a little ice rink, but I also tried to combine some more uncommon builds such as the mountain home for hands, aka the Yeti. I also tried my hands at creating a ski lift and ski lodge area where we had like a ski shop, and that was just kind of fun. I really did also enjoy creating another winter market here. There's something about creating markets which is just so much fun, and I do think this one, personally in my opinion, was a little bit better than the one that I did on Azalea. I think the red just made it feel a bit more festive and just a bit more kind of like I'm going to do my winter shopping or my Christmas shopping here. Overall, I definitely enjoyed creating this winter island a lot more than the first one, and it definitely had a bit more of a festive feel to it. I think with the red, that just screams Christmas to me, so it really did help me get in the mood for Christmas season as well. The next island screams traditional cottagecore to me, and this was my island of Laurel. This was a 1.0 island, and I wanted to keep it very natural and rustic. I kept the colour palette quite neutral, using some of my favourite white flowers, and I love the path on this island. Looking back, I still do love this path, and I would definitely use it again. I feel like this island was quite heavily terraformed, and I do like that about it. The entrance is probably one of my favourites, as it's not overly fussy, but there's still like some little bits going on as well. The Able Sisters here I really loved as well. That's probably one of my favourites, having all the different sewing areas and the little designs out front. The campsite and the waterfall, I remember doing that and really enjoying making that as well. Again, that kind of ties in with the terraforming. I think what helped make the colour palette of this island, even though kind of very neutral, was the colour of the grass. I think that the March grass is so lovely, and it really worked for this island. Another one of my favourite builds on this island that never gets old is the lavender farm. I feel it's such a 1.0 build, but it's a classic and it really does never get old. Overall, this island was nice, and I definitely preferred it to my first ever island, even though it's kind of like a similar style, and I definitely would love to revisit the cottagecore feel. In at number 6, we have my coastal island. This was Laurel 2.0. I basically flattened the island we just spoke about and then went back in and did this. And despite this being another 1.0 island, this is definitely one of my favorites. This was a super nostalgic island for me, and definitely a reason why, if you're looking for a new theme, you should take inspiration from your real life experiences. I really enjoyed the blue and white and the coastal theme for this island. I really do recommend giving it a try if you're stuck for another theme. I actually made some of my own coves for this island where I had some lovely beach huts, which may not be perfect, but I was pretty proud of myself for creating them because I wanted something to match with the beach hut vibe and there just wasn't anything out there, so I had to do it myself. I loved making the Fae area with lots of fun games. I also really went out of my comfort zone trying to recreate some sand dunes and beach areas inland. I also really liked the harbour area and the fake boat because at this point we didn't have the yacht, so this was a point in time where we had to get creative and recreating things that looked like other things, and I really love that about it. It was back to old school Animal Crossing. I also really like the fish and chip area because if you go to the seaside in the UK, then fish and chips are a definite must. I have a half finished coastal town 2.0 right now, which maybe in the future I will eventually finish, but I'm not in any rush right now. So maybe we'll see that in a future list or a future video. The penultimate island on my list is going to be my music festival island called Melody. This island was inspired by music festivals like Glastonbury. I wanted it to have like a hippie, colourful feel to it. And I feel like I took a risk with this island. This was, very interesting. The colour palette I chose probably shouldn't have worked on paper because who puts orange, purple and pink together? But it brought me happiness in the end, and I think the bright colours definitely help contribute to that festival feel. This island was a challenge, and one of the biggest challenges was definitely the huge stage that I decided to build. This was a huge undertaking and it took a long time to create, but I think the island, it definitely fits with the island and it was definitely needed, so it was 100% worth it. And also this island was hard because it was such a unique theme. It was super hard to get inspiration, super hard to get kind of ideas as to where to go with your island. So I really had to think outside the box and think hard about what kind of builds that I wanted to do. I did enjoy decorating the different stage areas, especially the one that is by the bonfire and it's surrounded by trees. I thought that was cute. I also thought creating a peace pond was pretty unique, and it was a bit of a nightmare to terraform, but it looks adorable on the map, that's for sure. I just want to say that if you're thinking about doing something that's unique, you've not seen it before, you're worried about the lack of inspiration, you should 100% give it a try and just do it, because you'll never know. You'll step outside your comfort zone and really test your creativity. It was a lot of fun to do this island. And my final island is my Springcore island of Daffodil. This is probably a weird choice because it's probably the most boring and most unoriginal island, but it's just really aesthetically pleasing to me, and I feel like the island is probably most me, which is why it's my favorite. I love green, I love flowers, which is what this island is full of. I also feel that it's a nice balance between kind of structure and the natural aspect, which I love, and I love the flower path. It was so pretty and so nice to use. Building wise, I absolutely love the flower farm with the big barn at the back, and I thought that was really nice. And I also had so much fun recreating my resident rep home. I came up with this idea of putting it on a hill and then have like a valley surrounding it. It looked really cute. It was a nightmare to decorate, but I had a lot of fun with it in the end, and I think that was worth it. The biggest build in this island was my bakery and combo with a florist, which is probably not my favorite fake build I've ever done, but it fitted nicely with the island. I think it just needed a bit more finessing when I'm looking back at it now. My museum on this island was also really nice. It was super simple, but I really just love all the flowers, and when I look back at it, I think it just works quite well. It's something different to having like a structured museum, so I really like that about it. Overall, I think this island, I really tried to decorate every inch of this island, and everywhere is like full, it's got something, and when I look at it now, I'm like, it's hard to pick out areas. I kind of appreciate it, and it does bring me joy, this island, and I think that's why it has to be my favorite island, that's for sure. So there we have it. That is me ranking all of my islands. Do you agree? I will put all the dream addresses for the islands that you can visit in the comments if you want to go have a look for yourself. Thank you so much for watching. Have a great day. Goodbye.